Hello everyone, I'm Gulnaz from class 8. Today I'm going to present an experiment about the property that says that there is space between the atoms of a matter. We all must have came through this statement while reading or may have heard this, that every atom of a matter have space between them. And today through this experiment we're going to see how it's true. Now, we all must have noticed that when we put sugar or salt into the water, then the level of the water rises up a bit. Now, let's check if it actually works. Now, to perform this experiment, we'll need a glass of water and some salt. Now, let's do our first step and check if the level of the water rises or not. So first, let's mark the level of our water right now before adding the salt. This is the level of our water before adding the salt. Now, our second step is to add the salt and check if the level rises or not. Now we can see that before the level of the water was here and now it rises up a bit. Let's mark this too. Now we can clearly see that the level of the water rose from here to here when we added the salt. Now what we have to do now is to mix the salt into the water by stirring it for some time. Now let's see if the level of the water comes back to its normal level or what happens next. Now, after mixing the salt into the water, we can clearly see that when we added the salt, the level of the water rose right here, and before it was here. And now when we mix the salt completely into the water, then the level of the water came back to its normal level. How did it actually happen and where did the salt went? So this is the question. Now let's see how it actually happened. So first, when we put the salt into the water, and then the level of the water rose. Now next, when we stirred the water and mixed the salt into it, then by stirring it, we broke the salt into smaller particles. And as we know that there is space between the atoms of any matter, and so is the atoms of this water, then the small particles of the salt that had been broken, they all went and settled down into the space. This is how when we mixed it and broke this salt into smaller particles, these particles went and settled into the water, and that's how the level of the water came back to its normal form, because it didn't affect the level of the water at all after it just settled down in the remaining space that was empty. So that's how this works, and that's what this statement means when it says that there is space between the atoms of any matter. Thank you.